We talk about Steve Yzerman, the job he's done over the years, everything he's been building towards, and then the free agency period this year. A lot of really optimism. David Perron, Andrew Kopp. All right, cool. Things are going in the right direction. Traded for Uso. There's your starting goaltender. Okay. Welcome to the Steve Yzerman plan, where through 12 games you have 16 points.
Top 5 in the NHL. Pretty good.
7-3-2 is the record for the Detroit Red Wings. And boy, they are the talk of town. They are the most fun to watch. They are the most competitive team in town. And in that conference, in that division, you're going to need 94, 95 plus points to get into the playoffs if you're lucky.
Right.
My goodness, Derek Lalonde, night and day difference with Blashill. Yzerman went out in free agency and made sure his guy had the tools required to succeed. And now the rest is history. And Detroit, hockey town, you get to watch, you really get to sit back and watch your hockey team start really getting it together. And over the next 2-3 years, becoming a contender. And that is so exciting, Jeff.
No, and they won, 4 out of the last 5 games. And on top of that, too, like this team it finally has structure. And that's credit to Derek Lalonde, too. And obviously, Yzerman making the additions he made in the offseason. If you check just the point leaders on this team currently, you have Larkin with 15. You have Kubalik right behind him at 15. You have Perron at 8. So, again, look at the impact of these guys. Yzerman continuing to find talent, especially in the offseason. And it's exciting. Like last year, this team with Jeff Blashill, and it's night and day compared to this team now. You're finally getting adults in the room, professionals, guys that know how to win games, know how to do the little things, and especially defensively, how they've responded to. I mean, to give up 8 goals against Buffalo and to respond the way they've responded. I mean, again, give credit to Yzerman. This man's he's the artist, he's the chef. But Lalonde, too, defensively, them being able to adjust after having performances like they've had, man, it's exciting. And it's even more exciting to know where this team's heading in the future because truly, they haven't even gotten that big fish. They've gotten good free agents and they're winning games and they have a chance to make the postseason. But Adam, this is just the beginning. And I think they're doing a hell of a job this year in Lalonde's first year. He's really getting to the players and it's making an impact. So they're winning games. It's really the only franchise right now, if you want to throw in Detroit City FC. They made the playoffs as well. But the Red Wings are the most exciting team to watch.
Going in a real football team.
Gotta show love to Detroit City FC. But the Red Wings, man.
Shut up, Fish.
It's incredible what they're doing.
The Red Wings are really playing at a higher level than I even expected this early on in the year. Kubalik, unbelievable.
Really,
Kopp
he is.
Got off the schneid not too long ago. That was nice to see. Perron has been consistent all season long.
And they don't have Vrana. And shout out to him, by the way. I hope he gets his mental health figured out. We're praying for him as well. But still, they don't have Vrana, the guy we said would lead this team in goals.
And they have their one. And they have their one at the goaltending spot. And now if I'm just projecting for the future.
Yeah, Husso's him.
Depending on how the year finishes. If this is a team that's battling, you probably don't see Casa get called up. But sometime next season, by the latest, I'm telling you from now, Casa will get 12, 14 games towards the end of the year, next year. I think that's what he'll get. What they did with Vasilevsky is what you'll see with Casa if he continues to develop at his level. They'll bring him up. He'll be the 2 behind Uso going into the following year. And then again, you're in the playoffs by then. You're seeing who's the hot goalie, who's the better goaltender. And if Casa is everything you want him to be, well, then you have a great problem on your hands. Because Uso has been phenomenal so far in the Red Wings uniform.
Yeah, that whole narrative, them rotating, it's over. I mean, Husso's the man. And on top of that, and I love the point Mike brought up in the chat too, totally forgot to mention it, Bertuzzi's been out. Like, you don't have Bertuzzi, you don't have Vrana, and obviously Zanita and Fabry, like you mentioned. It's really impressive, man. Like, for these free agents to step up like they've been doing, obviously Larkin still leading the team in points, but being tied with Kubalik, you can't complain. And then Lucas Raymond finding his stride after struggling the first couple games too. Again, it's crazy because as Lucas Raymond and Mo Sider, those guys have been getting off to a little bit of a slow start. I know Sider, he's made an impact, but in terms of scoring points, they're still winning games at him. And that's what you have to take away from it. I mean, the goaltending, acquiring Husso compared to last year, how bad they were, and making that adjustment, them getting that much better. Again, coaching matters. Yes, it does. But these veterans are making a tremendous impact. It's relieving. I'm sure it is for Red Wings fans to finally just see sprinkle in some veterans with what they've already had.
Let's look at the
it's a
GM
positive
situation and compare it around Detroit, okay?
Let's do it.
Yzerman comes in, deals with the losing. In the NHL, you understand what a rebuild is, and he's a proven winner. So he really had a leash that was much longer than I would say most GMs would get in general. Proven Stanley Cup winner with the Tampa Bay Lightning as a GM, back-to-back Stanley. Again, his resume speaks for itself, the team he built, who he drafted, right?
Absolutely.
So you knew no matter what happened for 7, 8, 10 years, 15 years, you were going to support Steve Yzerman. That was not going to change, correct? We all agree. Having said that, he came in. The team wasn't all that great. Take on some bad contracts, get draft picks, wait a few years to get those bad contracts off the books. The team isn't all that great. You draft Sider, you draft Raymond, you keep drafting all these players, you're developing them. You now go out in free agency, and now you're seeing his plan come to fruition. And it all started when, guys? When Jeff Blashill was fired. That's when it really started. Because that's when Steve Yzerman looked you in the face and said, you know what, bitch? We're ready. Hey, Detroit, I've been pitching you all this time on getting to where we all want to be. The second he announced Blashill was gone, that's it. Done. His plan is in full effect. And what do you know? The free agents, the head coach, it's all working. That's what a GM looks like. That's what a damn good GM operates like. And it's really going to have it in this town. And you want to compare it to Weaver? You want to compare it to Holmes? Even Scott Harris now? They got big decisions to make.
Right.
Weaver, is Casey his coach? Holmes, not only the quarterback, but even the coach. You have to address it eventually, unless Dan Campbell just suddenly turns it around and becomes one of the better coaches in the NFL, which I don't see happening. That's the decisions they have in front of them. Yzerman has hit on... Excuse me. Yzerman has hit on his. He's in the clear, man. That's a team that's going to not only be a playoff team, a contender for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Because of how they are ran with this individual at the helm. It's that simple. Steve Yzerman, the best GM in town. The team's playing extremely well. Derek Lalonde, my goodness. What more can you do? What more can you do?